Hey, I'm Caressa.
Hey, I'm Maddie.
You're not watching the Disney Channel right now.
You're listening to
Dreadfully Twisted. We are back.
We're
And
back.
2 weeks in a row, you got us.
Yeah. We made a promise that we're trying to keep here.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I did research in like 2 days, so. Did it while I was at work, because I have nothing to do at work.
Well, hey, there we go. It's the perfect time to do it.
But exciting news today. This story is technically a 2-parter.
Dun dun dun.
So you're getting part 1 today, and then you're going to get part 2 sometime.
Yeah.
It might be next week, depending on if I get my research done, or depending if you get your research done first.
But it'll be coming soon.
It'll be coming either next week or the week after.
Yeah.
You might have to wait.
To coming soon.
Sorry.
The theater's near you, but not really.
But I'm also excited because a little exciting news for my crafting business. I am going to be selling my stuff in a store. So excited. And I don't know if I could do that or not. I don't know. I was thinking maybe I could try some like merch for the podcast there. But I don't know about that.
Probably could.
But I could probably do that at craft shows.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely could.
But yeah, so there's that. And then we watched Five Nights at Freddy last week.
Yes, we did.
It was good.
It was good.
I was hoping it was more scary.
Yeah, it was a little too PG, but it was good.
Yeah, it was good though. And then other exciting news that I cannot wait for is that we're going to the Hollywood Undead concert on Saturday.
On Saturday!
I've been like every day listening to their music, and I've just been putting 5 days, 4 days, 3 days, only a day. I'm so excited.
We're excited.
I'm so excited.
Me too. We're gonna have the best time.
It's gonna be so fun.
I know. We're gonna take a million pictures.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's gonna be so fun.
So if you see a photo on Dreadfully Twisted of us at a concert, yes, you did.
You did. So I'm excited for that. So all this positives before we get into the really, really, really sad case.
Oh no. Am I gonna cry?
Well, it's not sad. It's happy.
Yeah.
After a certain point.
Yeah.
But then it gets sad.
Yeah.
And then it gets even sadder in part 2.
Oh.
So today I'm going to be talking about a case that happened in California. And it happened in the 70s. And yeah, it's a lot to unpack here. So buckle in. Steven Gregory Stayner was born April 18th, 1965. His parents are Kay and Delbert. Delbert worked as a mechanic in a peach cannery. Canary. That says peach canary, not cannery. Canary? Either one's fine.
Yeah. Something like that.
He worked 18 hours a day for 6 days a week, which, oh my.
Oh my.
I don't even want to work 8 hours
No.
a day.
No.
I don't even want to work 5 days a week. So working 6 days a week, like
Yeah.
I used to do that. And can't even imagine 18 hours a day. Like, what you get like not that much sleep.
Yeah.
I need my
Seriously,
sleep.
when do you sleep?
I need my sleep.
Me too.
Kay stayed home with the kids. Stephen was the third of 5 children. He has an older brother, Carrie, and 3 younger sisters, which I am not going to name his sisters, but there's a reason why I'm naming his brother, Carrie. Anyway.
Oh no.
He lived in a small city of Merced, California, which is a small farming town kind of in the middle of nowhere. Merced is 2 hours from Yosemite and is called the gateway to Yosemite. People who knew the family described Kay as cold and not active in the children's lives, even though she was home with them all the time. Carrie was the first to discover his personality, and he took Stephen under his wing. They always hung out together, and he invited them to go on bike rides and hang out with his friends like all the time. They were like super close, at least at that time. However, on the afternoon of December 4th, 1972, Stephen was walking home from school on which was only 4 blocks. He was on Yosemite Parkway, which goes to Yosemite. When Stephen doesn't come home, both of his parents were worried. They were alerted, so they called the police. Oh, I didn't say. He was 7 years old at this happened.
Yeah.
So he was 7, so they were like, why didn't my 7-year-old come home?
Yeah.
Like, that's not
Normal.
common
That
or
is not normal.
So the investigation started with the police on foot looking through the area. Since Stephen was 7 and it was a safe area and a safe town, the police started with that because they were like, we don't know what happened, so we're just gonna like scope the area, see what's going on. It was a safe area and a safe town, so the police started with looking. And then the media started reporting, and the local news showed up and was reporting the disappearance of Stephen because they were like, what's going on? They were all wondering, how can a little boy get snatched in the middle of the day on a busy road? As the day turned into the next day and they still had no idea where Stephen went, his parents' worry grew even more. Yosemite Parkway was a highway and a lot of people drove on it. It was a very busy road and a lot of strangers were on it every day. So strangers being in the area wasn't uncommon.
Yeah.
It was very common for just random people to be driving on the road because it was a highway. So again, how could a little boy get snatched
exactly.
on a very busy street or busy road that was a highway that so many people would have witnessed what was going on?
Not one person seen it.
Yeah. An abduction normally starts with ruling out family and friends. Then it goes to rule out predators. Then after that, it's hard to start narrowing down the possibilities because you already ruled out like their family. And then you ruled out the friends. If there's no predators in the area, then you're like, hey, who took Stephen?
Yeah.
Like, they couldn't find anything. And just to think of it, it's the 70s with no cameras around to see what happened at the time. So there was
no ring cameras.
There was no camera, so they were like, couldn't even get a car or anything. And there was also no eyewitnesses, so no one saw what happened. So everybody was like, what happened?
Yeah.
Days turned into weeks, and they still had no idea what happened to Stephen. Hope was draining. Even in the 70s, people knew that the chances of finding a child or anyone after missing for that amount of time, that like the chances lessens. Like you're probably not going to find them alive. The heartbreak and worry started to take a toll on the Stayner family. Carrie started missing his brother. He felt guilty because he actually was supposed to be walking with Stephen that day. Carrie would also go out at night and wish to the stars that Stephen would come. Which is really sad. Like, that's, like, heartbreaking. Delbert and Kay put pressure on Carrie at this time, which also made Carrie's guilt worse. They were individually struggling. Delbert became easily agitated and became rough on the kids. Kay became more withdrawn, becoming colder and more distant, which is understandable because they were grieving for their child.
Yeah.
Like, I would be like, my child's gone, so, like, I'm not the same person.
Yeah, for sure.
But this also left 4 kids in the house with absent parents, abandoned and neglected. However, life had to go on, but everyone in the family still struggled. Harry eventually made it to high school, and he was voted the most creative because he was an artist who drew cartoon-like drawings. People raved about his artwork. However, he was still just the kid whose brother went missing. That's all people really known him for. And Carrie was still struggling despite being an artist and people being like, oh, your art is good. He was still struggling. He had trichotillomania, which the description of that is a disorder that involves recurrent irresistible urges to pull out body hair, which include hair from the scalp, eyebrows, and other areas of the body. There are so many causes of this, but it is related to stress, pressure, and trauma Carrie had been dealing with. And this time, for some people, this is mild and manageable. For others, it is not and is very overwhelming. For Carrie, he pulled hair from his head, which left patches of no hair. Being that Carrie was young and in high school and he didn't want anybody to see, he always wore a hat to hide it. You don't want kids to make fun of you because kids are brutal.
Yeah.
Especially in high school.
Definitely.
The investigators kept searching, but there was no leads and the case was going cold and not going anywhere. By this time, it's been 6 to 7 years since Stephen went missing. Carrie grew up, and so have his sisters. His parents had to go on with their life. Stephen was still missing with no movement in the case, and it was still cold. Police said that he was abducted by a stranger passing through, and that Stephen most likely was not alive anymore. It was a homicide case at this point. Yeah. Then the community was hit with the same thing that happened to Steven. A 5-year-old boy, Timothy White, went missing in Ukiah, California. I don't know if I'm saying that right. While walking home from school, which is about 4 or 4.5 hours between the two towns. Chaos ensued in the disappearance of Timothy White, and communities started forming together. Hours and days went by, and Timothy was still nowhere to be found. His parents were devastated, and the community was worried. The police were once again unsure of what could have happened. 15 days went by. In the middle of the night, an older boy and Timothy had appeared at a police station. Police called Timothy's parents, and they rushed to the police station. At the police station, they also taken the older boy into questioning. Says multiple times his name is Dennis. But the police were asking him if he kidnapped Timothy and what happened. He said he was hitchhiking with Timothy to get him home, and they were trying to find his home, but they couldn't, so he brought them there. He brought him there. Then the police were asking what happened in like more detail, and the boy says, "I know my name is Steven." Yeah.
If you guys would see my face, I'm like,
you were not expecting that, were
no.
you? Yeah. So what actually happened in 1972? That's what you're all wondering. Well, this is what happened.
You remember the one case I said this case like took place in like the 80s, and then I said 2021 in another sentence, and I was like, wait a second, that doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
We all have those days.
I'm just not reading this right. Okay. Irvin Edward Murphy, who had become acquainted with convicted child rapist Kenneth Parnell. They both worked at a resort in Yosemite National Park. Murphy described it by those who knew him as trusting, naive, and simple-minded man. Had been enlisted by Parnell, who had passed himself off to Murphy as an inspiring minister, into helping him abduct a young boy so that Parnell could, quote unquote, raise him in a religious type deal, the correct way.
Huh?
And Murphy agreed.
Oh my god.
How do people find each other?
What is wrong with you?
What is wrong with you? Oh, I want to abduct a kid and, from his home and just raise him in the correct way. Okay, yeah, I'll help you.
Yeah. What is wrong with you?
Why would you abduct a kid? What is wrong with you? I don't understand.
No.
While Steven was walking home from school, he was approached by a name.
He was approached by a name.
He was approached by a name. And that name was a horrible guy. I am struggling. While Steven was walking home from school, he was approached by a man named Irvin Edward Murphy. Acting on instructions from Parnell. Had like an accent there. Parnell. Oh my god. This is what you get whenever you get me on a Thursday after work. Okay. Who was passing out Parnell? Irvin was passing out gospel tracts to boys walking home from school that day, and after spotting Stayner, claimed to be a church representative seeking donations. Stayner later claimed that Murphy asked him if his mother would be willing to donate any items to the church. When the boy replied that she probably would, Murphy then asked Stayner where he lived and if he would be willing to take Murphy to. Wait. Yeah, if Steven was willing to take Murphy to his home to like ask his mom for donations. After Stayner agreed, a white Buick driven by Kenneth Parnell pulled up, and Steven willingly climbed into the car with Murphy. Kenneth kept driving straight and didn't take the turn to the house. He went to a gas station and stopped at a payphone, and when he came back, he told Steven that his parents called and said didn't miss him and didn't want him back. Yeah.
What the? Oh.
Yeah. Parnell then drove a confused Steven to his cabin in nearby Cathy's Valley instead. Unknowingly to Stayner, Parnell's cabin was located only several hundred feet from his maternal grandfather's, which is really...
Wait, how many feet?
Several hundred. I'm guessing probably like less than 500. And, okay, I probably should have put this at the beginning of the episode, but this is an advisory for child sexual assault right now. So if you want to skip this, I understand, but advisory, there's sexual assault. So Just warning everybody. But Maddie stuck with me. So
Yeah.
she has to deal with it.
Listener discretion advised.
But Maddie's stuck.
Yeah.
Kenneth molested Steven the first night at the cabin. For the first week, Parnell kept Steven high on cough syrup.
Well, that's all types of messed up.
What is wrong with you?
What is wrong with you?
And how much cough syrup do you have to give him for him to be high on it?
Seriously.
Probably like bottles upon bottles, maybe. Kenneth began raping Stayner 13 days later, on December 17th, 1972. So after Steven told him many times during the first week that he wanted to go home, Parnell told him that he had been granted legal custody of him because his parents could not afford so many children and that they did not want him anymore. He also convinced him that his parents could not afford raising him with like the other children, and that's just terrible.
That is terrible.
Like, oh, your parents can't afford to take care of you.
Yeah,
anymore,
literally
so...
brainwashed them. Like, wow.
Yeah. Wait,
your parents don't love you. They don't want you anymore.
Like, why would you say
what is wrong with you?
What is wrong with you? You're a messed up individual, and
You're a
I
terrible
don't
person.
like you.
We don't like you at all.
I don't like you. Parnell created a new identity for Steven, giving him a new name, Dennis Gregory Parnell, but retained his original middle name and his original date of birth. Yeah. Oh, let me just rename you, but you're going to keep the same birthday.
Yeah.
And you're going to keep the same middle name. So, if that's not a little bit suspicious at all.
Serial killer 101.
Don't kill.
What is wrong with you?
What is wrong with you? I don't understand.
I feel like this is like Dumb and Dumber.
And it gets even better. Or even worse, I guess. Better because he's stupid. Worse because he's stupid. He shouldn't have done this in the first place. Steven was not kept in captivity, and in following years was enrolled into a number of schools where Parnell identified himself as his father.
No.
Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. And the two moved frequently across California, living in bad trailers and locations including Santa Rosa and Comanche. Parnell allowed Steven to begin drinking at a young age and to come and go virtually as he pleased.
Well, that's nice. Good parenting 101 too.
Yeah, if you want to be a father, you wanted to raise him the right way and the like religious type deal, but you could drink. You don't have a curfew.
You could go off on your own, go and get drugs and, possibly get murdered. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, I don't like this guy.
Just like, what is wrong with you? It's 10.
Yeah, what is wrong with you?
It just keeps getting worse. Like, what is wrong with you?
You did the most, like, horrible thing. You kidnapped him.
Exactly.
And now you're just gonna, like, not, like, what's the word? Discipline him?
Yeah.
Like, oh, here you go. Do whatever you want. So bad for Steven. Like.
Me too.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well. Parnell moved from one menial job to another. Some of his work required traveling and leaving Steven unguarded, causing later an adult Steven to remark how he could have easily used these absences as opportunities to flee, but was unaware how to summon help, which is really sad. He could have got help, but he didn't know how because he didn't really know where he was probably. Steven had a relaxed upbringing as his captor, Parnell, horrible guy, not only allowed him to roam freely wherever he wished to go and allowed him to start drinking, which I don't understand that at all. But during this time, he also had grown fondly of his pet dog, Queenie, a Manchester Terrier. Parnell's mother had given the dog to Parnell. So at least Steven got a dog.
Yeah.
But Kenneth treated Steven like a son during the day, but at night it was the complete opposite. He would sexually assault him. And yeah. Whenever he decided to enroll Steven into school, which my question is, how can you enroll a kid into school without proof that he's who Parnell says he is?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Don't you need proof? Like, oh, this is my son. You need to give him like your birth certificate or something. Like, Well, the answer to that question is, at that time, Stephen, or I'm not reading that right. I read a different sentence with that one. At this time, everything was done on paper, and Parnell just kept telling the school that he would get the document or the information to the school eventually. They were like, hey, where's this paper? He'd be like, oh, I'll get it to you like next week. They'll follow up. Hey, where's this paper? I'll get it. I don't have it yet. I'll give it to you like tomorrow or something. And then he just never gave it to them, and they just quit asking. So shame on the school.
Shame on you. Seriously, like, what's wrong with them?
Wouldn't you want to like make sure that this kid wasn't kidnapped?
Exactly.
Like,
you don't
he
think
was?
that's a red flag? I mean,
Red flag, red
Red
flag,
flag.
red flag. Like, it's just excuses at this point.
seriously.
Oh my gosh. I hate this guy.
Me too.
I don't hate him as much as Amelia, though.
Yeah.
They finally settled at Comchi, California, in a trailer that was thick in the woods and trees and brush. Which this part is really interesting. Stephen made friends and adjusted to this new life. By the time he was in high school, he had a girlfriend and he was on the football team. And he was drinking and now smoking and didn't have a curfew. He was completely brainwashed, which started at the age of 7, which at this point it's been a long time because he's in high school now. He's like 14. So it's just, it's understandable that he wouldn't say anything because he's brainwashed and he probably doesn't know.
Yeah.
Like, but he knows it's not right,
Mm-hmm.
but he's probably also afraid.
Yeah, because he doesn't know anything else, really.
Yeah. And he knew the sexual abuse wasn't normal, but he just kept it a secret because he didn't remember much of his actual family. Many reasons why he probably didn't report this was because of that.
Yeah.
He was like, where do I go after this?
Mhm.
And this is all I've ever known, so
Yeah.
I can't really leave. So having friends and having that dog was a positive aspect of his life. For a period of 18 months, a woman named Barbara Matthias lived with Parnell and Stephen. According to Stephen, Matthias, along with Parnell, raped him on 9 occasions at the age of 9. In 1975, on Parnell's instruction, Matthias tried to lure another young boy who was in the Santa Rosa's Boy Club with Stephen into Parnell's car. The attempt was unsuccessful. Matthias later claimed to have been completely unaware that Dennis had been kidnapped. I mean, quote unquote, Dennis, like Stephen.
Yeah.
Okay, you say that you don't know he's been kidnapped, but you're sitting here doing that to him.
Yeah, literally.
You're sexually abusing him and raping him.
What
But
is
you're like,
wrong
oh,
with
I didn't
you?
know he was kidnapped. Like, that's the most terrible thing I've
Literally.
I think the other thing is a little bit worse than being kidnapped.
Yeah, a little bit.
Because that... I hate these people.
Me too.
What is
Me
wrong
too.
with you?
What is wrong with you?
I can't stop saying that. Oh my goodness. This is just insane. It gets even worse as time goes on. As Stephen entered puberty, Parnell began to look for younger children to kidnap. Since Stephen was now hitting puberty and could possibly fight back, Parnell was worried about that. So he had used Stephen in an attempt to kidnap other children on prior occasions. But all the kidnappings attempts were unsuccessful. This caused Parnell to believe that Stayner lacked the means to be an accomplice. Stephen revealed later that he had intentionally sabotaged these failed kidnappings, like because he didn't want another kid to be kidnapped, so he sabotaged them on purpose because he was like, "No, I'm not letting you do this."
Yeah.
On February 14th, 1980, Parnell goes behind Stephen's back and plays a teenage friend of his and told him to walk along the road asking for church donations. He and this friend then kidnapped 5-year-old Timothy White in Ukiah, California, which is the same exact way Stephen was taken. When Kenneth comes back to the cabin with Timothy, Stephen was horrified and gutted. Timothy cried and begged to go home. Stephen couldn't take it, and he didn't want Timothy to go through what he went through. Motivated in part by the young boy's distress, Stephen decided to return the boy to his parents. On March 1st, 1980, while Parnell was away at his night security job, Stephen left with White and hitchhiked into Ukiah. Loki, you're not supposed to be down here. How did you get down here? I am sorry if you hear my dog. He was supposed to be upstairs, but he escaped, and he's down here now, so you probably hear him sniffing into the microphones. So I'm sorry.
You want to say hi? Loki says hi, everybody.
Loki says hi. Where was I? Okay. On March 1st, 1980, while Parnell was away at his security night job, Stayner left with White and hitchhiked into Ukiah. After they were unable to locate White's home, they went to the police station. Fortunately, the police spotted him as well as... Stop sniffing the microphone. This is a very chaotic episode. I am sorry. Okay. After they were unable to locate White's home, they went to a police station. Fortunately, the police spotted him as well and detained both of them. But when the police sat him down to explain everything, Steven couldn't say it, and all he could say was, "I know my name is Steven." Just like sad because like
sad.
he knows he's not who he's supposed he's supposed to be Steven. He knows that.
Yeah.
But Timothy went back home with his parents, and Steven's family got the call they never expected to get. Steven was still alive at the police station, which is insane because keep in mind it's been 7 years since he's been missing. Loki, please sit down. Please sit down. You're making this like difficult.
He wants to be the third wheel. He wants to be a part of this episode.
He's a part of this episode.
He just yawned. I don't know if you heard that, but it was adorable.
What was I saying? He's distracting me so hard right now. Okay. Stop.
He's like, pay attention to me.
This is why you're upstairs with your dad. So just think of that. Like, Steven's parents or family got a call saying that he was still alive, and it's been 7 years since he went missing. Just imagine how they felt.
No.
Like, probably excited, enjoyed, but they're also like, what happened?
Yeah.
The next day, on March 2nd, both boys were reunited with their families, and Parnell was arrested. On the daybreak of March 2nd, Parnell had been arrested on suspicion of abducting. Oh my gosh, I am struggle busting. Abducting both boys. When the police checked into his background, they found a previous sodomy conviction from 1951. In 1981, Parnell was tried and convicted of kidnapping White and Stayner in 2 trials. He was sentenced to 7 years, but paroled after serving 5.
I'm mad.
Yeah.
That just really made me mad.
Yeah. Could have at least served the 7 years.
Exactly. In 7 years, that's it. In 5, that's it. Oh my god, what is wrong with them?
Well, yeah, what is wrong with you? I'm angry.
Too.
And it gets even worse. Parnell was not charged with numerous sexual assaults on Stayner and other boys because most of them occurred outside the jurisdiction of the Merced County prosecutor or were by then outside the statute of limitations. Though Mendocino County prosecutors, acting almost entirely alone, decided not to prosecute Parnell for the sexual assaults that occurred in their jurisdiction. They just decided, oh, I just don't want to charge him with this.
What is wrong with them?
Exactly. They didn't want to charge him. So they're just like, we're just not going to charge you.
On.
We're going to decide on our own that we're not charging you.
Can't even believe that.
I'm sorry if you hear Loki sniffing in the microphones. Then Murphy for helping kidnap Steven and Steven's friend for helping kidnap Timothy were convicted of lesser charges. Both claimed that they knew nothing of the sexual assaults on either boys. Or on Steven, sorry. I don't think Timothy was sexually assaulted. I'm sorry. I said that wrong. I misread. But both claimed that they knew nothing of the sexual assaults on Steven. Matthias was never arrested. Steven remembers the kindness Uncle Murphy had shown him in his first week of captivity while they both were under the influence of Parnell's manipulation. And he believed that Murphy was as much Parnell's victim as he and Timothy were. Steven's kidnapping and its aftermath prompted California lawmakers to change laws to allow consecutive prison terms in similar abduction cases. So at least it changed some of the laws, but...
That's like with the baby farming case, too.
Mm-hmm.
Literally one of the most awful stories I ever heard. Changed so much. Like, the adoption laws, like, all that stuff.
It was very intense for Steven, who had gone 7 years. Timothy, it was 2 weeks, but it's still traumatizing because he was still so young, because he was 5 years old. And he got taken off the road. But it was very difficult for Steven because he got a lot of publicity after returning home. He appeared on Good Morning America. Timothy saw Steven as his hero. However, the reality with every survivor receiving attention when they had gone through this terrible thing and everyone thinks that they will just go back to normal, they can't and they don't. Steven didn't remember his siblings. Returning home, Steven felt his parents were still treating him as their 7-year-old child and had trouble adjusting to him no more, and he no more had the freedom to smoke, drink, or do whatever he wanted. He was placed in the same room as Carrie, and this part's sad. Him and Carrie didn't get along after him being back. They would fight a lot. And there's a reason for this, which I'll say in the second episode, but Carrie was very jealous of Steven and all the attention he was getting, which I'll say that now. But Steven was mocked at school because of what he went through, which caused him to drop out, and after he began drinking more often, he was eventually kicked out of his parents' house. And he had a hard time adjusting to a more structured household, and he had even been allowed to smoke and drink and do as he's pleased when he lived with Parnell, but his parents were like, no, that's not happening here. Yeah. In an interview with Newsweek shortly after his escape, Stayner said, "I returned almost a grown man, and yet my parents saw me at first as their 7-year-old. After they stopped trying to teach me the fundamentals all over again, it got better. But why doesn't my dad hug me anymore? Everything has changed. Sometimes I blame myself. I don't know sometimes if I should have come home. Would I have been better off if I didn't?" Which makes me want to cry, because like,
too.
He went through this terrible, terrible thing. I'm about to cry right now. Clearly building up. I gotta catch myself. Okay. I'm about to cry. I don't know why. This case just gets to me a little bit. But like, just saying that after reading it, but this is the first time I said it out loud. He went through this terrible, terrible thing. You as his parents, like, you can hear my voice, like,
yeah.
to freaking cry. You as his parents are not going to support him.
Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't even hug him.
You wouldn't hug him. When probably all he wanted was a hug from you.
Exactly.
Like, I'm literally crying right now because like I can like put myself in Steven's shoes. I can't even talk. I'm a mess right now. Okay. I can put myself in his shoes and see where he's coming from. Mm-hmm. But I kind of can't put myself in his parents' shoes and see where they're coming from. Like, if I was the parent, I'd be like loving and
exactly
caring, and no, I'm saying that they're probably, it's not that they weren't, but like, I'd be a little bit more supportive.
Yeah.
And I would at least hug my child.
Exactly. What is wrong with you? Why wouldn't you hug him?
Like, and all he
makes me want to hug him.
Yeah, it's very, very upsetting. Steven underwent brief counseling but never sought additional treatment. He also refused to disclose all the details of the sexual abuse he endured from Parnell. In a 2007 interview, Stayner's sister said her brother did not seek counseling because their father said he didn't need any. She added, he got on with his life, but he was pretty messed up. He was bullied by other children at school for being molested and eventually dropped out. He began to drink frequently and was eventually kicked out of the family home. His relationship with his father remained strained. Again.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, again, he went through this terrible, terrible thing. And you're going to sit there and say, oh, he doesn't need help.
Exactly. And I hate every single person who bullied him for getting molested. Who does that?
It's not
his fault.
Yeah, I was like, it's not his fault.
Exactly.
That some disgusting pervert guy.
I hate every single one of you.
Decided,
for Steven.
I'm going to ruin this kid's life.
Exactly.
I'm going to be a terrible person and disgusting by just a matter of fact. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting for touching a child like that.
Why would you bully somebody for that? That they didn't ask for it. Like, they didn't. It's not their fault. What the heck? I hate them. I hate them. I hate every single person who did it.
They all suck.
They do.
But it gets even sadder.
Oh no.
In 1985, Steven started working through things, and Steven married 17-year-old Jody Edmondson, with whom he had 2 children, a daughter Ashley, and a son Steven Jr. He also worked with child abduction groups, spoke to children about personal safety, and gave interviews about his kidnapping. He joined the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and worked at Pizza Hut. Which, that's nice that he was able to finally start getting his life together. But only 4 short years later, on September 16th, 1989, he succumbed to head injuries after being involved in a car accident while returning home from work on his motorcycle.
Oh.
At the funeral, at his funeral on September 20th, the 14-year-old Timothy White was one of the pallbearers.
Oh.
And 500 people attended his funeral.
Oh my god.
The alleged driver of the car was later identified by witnesses. So after going through all that, he finally got his life together.
Exactly.
And then somebody hits him.
And I really hope his dad regrets not hugging him.
Yeah, because now you're never going to be able to
exactly.
hug him.
I hope you feel like a piece of garbage.
But yeah.
So sad.
And I believe he was only 24 years old when he died.
The fact that Timothy was...
Yeah. Yeah, it's very sad.
Can't wait to see a picture of him.
I actually don't think I even looked up any pictures. Oh,
no?
Actually, yes, I have seen pictures of him. Because I started watching a documentary about this, which I'm about to get into because there's media adaptations about this case. You can look up a picture of him. He was a pretty like cute kid. And
yeah.
sad. Finally started getting his life back on track, and then the universe was like, nope, I'm taking that away from you.
Yeah, what the heck.
So we're gonna get into the media adaptations because there's many movies and television miniseries about this, and you might want to watch them. So I'll go into a little bit of it. In early 1989, a television miniseries based on his experience, I Know My First Name is Steven, also known as The Missing Years, was produced. Steven, taking a leave of absence from his job, acted as an advisor for Lorimar Telepictures and had a non-speaking part, playing one of the 2 policemen who escorted 14-year-old Steven through the crowds to his awaiting family. On his return to his Merced home, although pleased with the dramatization, Steven did not complain that it had depicted him as somewhat obnoxious, rude person. What?
Why would you do that?
Why would you depict him as an obnoxious, rude person?
Exactly.
Especially towards his parents. Something he refuted while publicizing the miniseries in the spring of 1989. The 2-part miniseries was first broadcast on NBC on May 21st and 22nd of 1989. Screening rights were sold to a number of international television companies, including the BBC, which screened the miniseries in mid-July of the following year. Later still, it was released as a feature-length movie. Okay, I am angry with that.
Me too.
Okay.
Why did you do that?
I'm gonna portray this kid that just went through this horrifying thing in his life as a rude kid when he probably just wanted his family back.
Exactly. Where did they even get that from? Like, what made them think, oh, let's make him obnoxious and rude?
Probably because they're like, the story isn't enough alone. We have to add something to it.
We have to make it more dramatic, like it wasn't dramatic already.
Like it wasn't traumatizing for the poor kid.
Goodbye. What is wrong with you?
What is wrong with you, movie producers
and
movie people and
everybody?
You suck.
With everybody involved in this.
The production, which received 4 Emmy Award nominations, including 1 for Namek, was based on a manuscript by Michael Eccles, who had researched the story and interviewed Stayner and Parnell, among others. After the premiere, Eccles published his book, also titled I Know My First Name is Steven, in 1991. In the epilogue to his book, Eccles described how he infiltrated NAMBLA. In 1999, against the wishes of the Stayner family, Eccles wrote an additional chapter about Steven's older brother Carey at the request of his publisher, which then republished the book. Which you won't know about this yet, but that will be in part 2 of what Carey had done after everything happened.
Oh my.
Let's just say it's not good.
Oh no.
The title of the film and book are taken from the first paragraph of Steven's written police statement given during the early hours of March 2nd, 1980 in Ukiah. It reads, My name is Steven Stayner. I am 14 years of age. I don't know my true birth date, but I use April 18th, 1965. I know my first name is Steven. I'm pretty sure my last is Stayner. And if I have a middle name, I don't know it. Does it make me want to cry?
I know, me too.
Stephen's story was also included in the book Against Their Will by Nigel Cawthorne, a compilation of stories of kidnappings. In April 2022, Hulu released a limited true crime docuseries, Captive Audience, a real American horror story following the life of Stayner and his family and how the kidnapping impacted their lives. Particular attention was paid to the events that impacted the life of Carrie Stayner. The docuseries focused heavily on the miniseries and featured appearances by both Corin Nemec and Eric Andrews. 10 years after Stayner's death, the city of Merced asked its residents to propose names for the city park honoring Merced's notable citizens. Stayner's parents proposed that the one be named Stayner Park. This idea was eventually rejected, and the honor was given to another Merced resident because of what I will tell you in part 2. Yeah, he was... I can't tell you why, but I'll tell you why in part 2
Yeah.
of that. And just say it has something to do with his brother. In 2004, Parnell, then 72 years old, was convicted of trying the previous year to persuade his caretaker's sister to procure for him a young boy for $500.
What is wrong with you?
Yeah. Aware of Parnell's past, she reported this to the local police, thank God. Timothy White, then a grown man, was subpoenaed to testify in Parnell's criminal trial. Although Stephen was dead, his testimony at Parnell's earlier trial was read to jurors as evidence in Parnell's 2004 trial. Parnell died of natural causes on January 21st, 2008 at the California Medical Facility in Vacaville, California, while serving a sentence of 25 years to life. So he's dead. Good.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Good riddance.
No, good. Don't good riddance him. Rest in distress.
Exactly. Rest in distress. I like it.
Rest in his distress. Stupid Kenneth Parnell.
Exactly. Screw you.
I hate you.
We hate you.
While later, Timothy White became a Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department deputy, which is so nice. Fortunately, he died on April 1st, 2010, at the age of 35 from a pulmonary embolism. Nearly 5 months later, on August 28, 2010, a statue of Stayner and White was dedicated in Applegate Park in Merced. Residents of Ukiah, White's hometown, carved a statue showing a teenager Stayner, Jesus, showing a teenage Steven with young White in hand while escaping the captivity. Fundraisers for the statue have stated that this is meant to honor Steven Stayner and his family and give families of missing and kidnapped children hope that they are still alive. Then this. Steven's father, Delbert Stayner, died on April 9th, 2013 at his home in Winton, California. He was 79 years old. His mother is still alive, and because she's in the 2022 Hulu docuseries.
Oh,
I started watching it, and she talks in it. But I'm not going to cover that series until I go into part 2, because part 2 it covers it, because that series is mainly about his brother Carrie and what happens with him.
About it last week.
Yeah. By the way, I said I was gonna do Gary Heidnik this week. Yeah, I changed it. we're talking about this.
Yeah.
Because
this is a crazy case.
Yes, so that's about Steven. Part 2 will be about Carrie. And on the other side of things, how it affected the family, how it affected Carrie, and stuff like that.
Ready.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Well, I'm not excited.
Well, not excited, but I'm ready to hear it
interesting.
because I've never heard the story before.
Yeah.
So I'll have to watch that on Hulu. I didn't know that thing.
Yeah, it's on Hulu. I started watching it at work, actually. Yeah. Because I have nothing to do there, so why not do stuff that I can do while I'm home? Exactly. I should not be saying this because I think people at work listen to my podcast, do the podcast. So guys, if you're listening to this, please don't say anything.
Yeah.
I try to find stuff to do.
Exactly. It's when there's nothing to do. What else?
There's absolutely nothing to do. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna use my time wisely.
Exactly.
Here.
Work on the podcast instead of staring at the wall.
Yeah. Which I'm gonna have stuff to do because guess what they're doing at work?
What?
We're having a Christmas contest of whatever office decorates the best gets like kudo points or whatever,
Uh-huh.
and gets to have a Jean day and gets to get lunch.
You're
I'm
gonna
like,
win.
Jen and I are gonna win this because
Yep.
oh, I didn't tell you, for the internal like work, my group won.
Oh yeah!
So we get lunch, but I don't know about the customer choice yet because it wasn't posted yet.
Yeah.
But I don't think we won for that one. But we won for the internal, so that's
Oh,
good.
that's
31 people
awesome.
voted for us.
That's awesome.
So I'm excited about that. And then I also wanted to bring up, did you hear about that body that was found in a town close to us? Yeah, there was a body found there in a pond on Monday.
Oh god.
Yeah. Which I can read
They-
news article.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to talk about that. And then an ex-Hollywood person, his wife, or not his wife, but a body was found in his garbage can.
Garbage can.
Yeah, I saw it on TikTok before. I'll tell you about that in a
Yeah.
second, but I'll tell you about the body in the town close to us. Which I'm not going to say the town because it's really close to us.
Yes.
But Pennsylvania State Police continues to investigate after a woman's body was found in a pond. Pennsylvania State Police continue to investigate. Police said Tuesday the body was identified. Pittsburgh Action News 4 reached out to the coroner's office for new information. They said they couldn't release information since they are still waiting on test results and referred us to state police. But the body was found near a road in this town on Monday. Police responded to the scene just before 10:40 a.m. The pond is deep back on an old farmland, and it cannot be seen unless you go through the brush. Some neighbors did not know there was a pond there. I didn't know there was a pond up there. When I lived up there, there was a pond, but it was inactive. It never held water or anything, a neighbor said. Fox used to live there and work on the farm. He said his brother owns and rents the house on the property. For him, it's sad to see this happen to once where he lived. But yeah, there was an autopsy, and there's like distinct tattoos on the woman's body that was found in the pond, but they don't know who, like, they can't release who it is yet because they haven't notified the family.
Yeah.
Which
I'm sure it will. Please.
Yeah. I'll tell you.
A couple weeks, I'm sure.
Tell you about. I have to find the TikTok. I did save it. I did not save it. Why didn't I save it? I do this to myself.
Oh my god, I hate when I do that. I think I liked it. I go into my liked videos and it's not there. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
So, husband arrested after body part found in dumpster. Wife and in-laws are missing. But he's an ex something. I don't know what his name. I don't want to play the video. But it was a human torso. It was found in a commercial dumpster, and a homeless man found it searching for scrap metal.
Oh my god.
His name is Sam Haskell. But it's crazy because his wife and in-laws are missing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's an ex-Hollywood agent's son.
The one that was killed. Sam.
No.
Or the one
his
who found.
wife
Oh.
is missing.
Okay, yeah.
And his in-laws.
Yeah, in-laws.
But he has been arrested.
Oh, okay. Okay.
They found blood in the home.
Yeah.
So this might be a case that I might cover,
Mhm.
depending on. I just wanted to ask you if you heard about
Yeah,
that.
I never.
Yeah, a torso.
I know,
So
that's
it's like
terrifying.
a dismembered body.
That's terrifying.
Gosh,
What is wrong with you?
what is wrong with you? Well, stay tuned for part 2.
Yeah, stay tuned.
It gets even worse.
It gets crazier. If you thought this was crazy, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Yeah,
Well, you have seen something yet, but I mean, it gets
Yeah.
worse.
It gets worse. And the next time we record, It'll be after the Hollywood Undead concert.
Yes.
And we'll tell you all about
We
it.
will. You'll probably see a picture or two.
Every time. So, really quick. Because this is a hilarious story. I walked into the lunchroom at work today, and the CEO/president of my job,
Yeah.
the place I work, he was like, anything new and exciting lately or coming up? And I was like, I'm going to a concert on Saturday. And he was like, oh, are you singing? And I was like, you probably never heard of them. They're a rock band. You probably won't even want to know who they are. I was like, but you probably never heard of them. And he was like, oh, who is it? And I was like, Hollywood Undead. And he gave me the weirdest look. He was like, he was horrified. he like looked at me like, oh my God, what do you listen to? And I was just like, it's a rock band. You won't know. He was like, yeah. He was like, if it wasn't in the 70s, then I don't know. And he like looked at me like all horrified. I was like, I am so sorry. I just scarred this man for life. Like, you know.
Let's hope he didn't go home and look them up and listen to them. He definitely. They're old songs. Just put on the old songs.
Yeah, they're gonna. If they look them up, they're probably gonna get everywhere I go. And like, everywhere I go.
He's gonna be like.
He's like, she listens to this? The sweet, innocent, like, quiet girl.
I thought you were
this music.
I thought you were a Swiftie.
I was told that by my manager. Okay, another really quick story. Back in September, I went with my sister to see Fit for a King, The Devil Wears Prada, and a couple other bands. And my manager asked me what I was doing that weekend, and I was like, oh, or that week I was off because I was off the week. And I was like, oh, I'm going to the Jonas Brothers concert on Monday, and then I'm going to another concert with my sister on Tuesday. And he was like, oh, what concert is that? And I said, oh, Fit for a King, The Devil Wears Prada. And he gave me the most horrified look then too. And I was like, I'm sorry.
You probably heard devil and was like,
and I was like, yeah. And he was like, I did not expect you to listen to that kind of music. And I was like, I listen to everything. And he was like, oh. He looked at me. He's like, I thought you listened to country music. And I looked at him with a smile on my face. I was like, oh, that's the music I can't stand.
Oh my God.
And he was like, oh, I guess I don't know you then. And I was like,
so funny.
Oh, okay.
What the heck made you think that? I don't come to work wearing cowboy boots and stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna wear cowboy girl boots.
Cowgirl boots.
And cowgirl boots. I said cowboy girl. And a hat. And I'm gonna talk Southern for now. Because I'm a country person.
Yeah. It's our favorite genre of music.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to like make fun of anybody who listens to country.
No.
Because I do like some country music.
Yeah.
I'll listen to like old Taylor Swift. And I'll listen to like Sam Hunt.
Yeah.
And sometimes Hunter's Hayes, but I have to be in the mood for it.
When I say I don't like country, I don't like the banjos.
Yeah, I
don't
like
the old. My tractor.
My tractor broke down.
My tractor sexy. Stuff like that.
Going in the clip.
But it is. It definitely is. But yeah.
How did this get so thrown off? Okay, we're unhinged. Unhinged. We are unhinged right now.
We are.
We're
excited.
Different things happening to me right now. I'm talking so weird. Oh my.
But then there's the good country music that you hear. It's like, I like the rock country, I think. Country rock. Like the ones that don't sound all like.
I like Daughtry.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love Daughtry. I've always have.
Yep.
I like Matchbox 20.
I don't like the banjos.
Yeah,
if it has banjos, I don't like it.
Okay, we should probably end this before it gets worse because we're just off topic.
We're talking about country music. Loki wants to say bye, everybody.
Loki's gonna say bye. He said bye.
He said bye.
He sniffed the thing.
Yep.
Okay, I am so sorry that got off the rails there. I hope you enjoyed our unhingedness there.
Yes. Our unhingedness.
And go follow our social medias at Dreadfully Twisted Podcast. Email us at dreadfullytwistedpodcast@gmail.com.
Send us your stories and suggestions.
And go to the Reddit /r/Dreadfully Twisted Pod. Send your stories in there, suggestions, talk in there. You know, have fun.
Or DM us on Instagram and
message us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Go watch our TikTok clips because they're hilarious. Because I take clips from here and put them in there, and I compile them, and they're just hilarious.
They're unhinged, like us.
Share our podcast to your friends and family who you think would like it. We would love to try to grow this.
Yes. Every single follow, every single like, every single stream helps. Like, it
does
really
count.
helps so much.
So please share, and please keep listening to us because we love you.
We love you.
And we are so thankful for everybody who has listened to us this far and who continues to listen to us, because we really appreciate it. Because I find this, even though we're talking about horrible things, I find it really fun.
Me too.
Because I get to spend time with my best friend.
Me too.
And we get to laugh and joke about the terrible people.
You can hear our funny, unhinged jokes and our
and banter that goes off the rails.
We try to make dark situations a little bit lighter.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And it's just interesting to go into each case and find out how messed up people are.
Exactly, because what is wrong with you?
Yeah, what is wrong with you? That's all we could say.
Exactly.
What is wrong with you? And let us know if you want shirts that say that.
Yeah,
because
please
I'll
do.
make them for you.
That'll be merch on our Patreon.
Merch, yeah. Go listen to go to our Patreon. I promise we will upload on there.
Yes,
very soon.
Yes,
we're gonna get back on track. I am motivated. I have my shop and a business. We're getting there.
We're getting there.
From now on, no more procrastination.
Yes.
Because I do that really bad.
Me too.
No more procrastination. If I don't have time at work, I'll work on the podcast research.
Yes.
Well, I do it at lunch anyway. But anyway, okay, this is getting so far off topic. Okay. We love you guys.
All right, we love you.
Please listen next week
to
part 2.
We will see you then.
Stay positive. Reach out to your friends. Be there for them.
Be a good person. Don't do crazy stuff like these people that we talk about.
Don't kidnap children.
Yeah.
And don't kill people.
Yeah. Don't do it.
Just be a good person.
Because we don't want to cover you on the podcast.
Yeah, we don't want to cover you.
We don't.
Stay safe.
Yeah, stay safe.
And we love you, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Well, not see you, but you know.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.